Welcome to Voice Bootcamp, a global name in unified communication. In this lab, I'm going to help you troubleshoot an inbound call to an IP phone which is supposed to ring the phone itself but end up ringing a voicemail. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So first of all, let's verify the phone is actually registered. So here my HQ phone 1 is registered. So if I were to dial from another phone, so what I'm going to do is open my second Toronto phone, and I'm going to dial the HQ phone 1. So if I dial new call 3001.
Sorry, 1HQ is not available. Record your message at the tone.
So as you can see, the call is going to voicemail. So we have to find out whether there is a specific configuration done on HQ phone 1 to route the call to voicemail. Sometimes what happens is a user might end up sending calls to voicemail because he or she might be going on a vacation. I need to log back in. So here I'll go to line 1. Okay, so there is no call forward all setting, so the call should not be going to voicemail. However, I do see the route pattern partitioning at HQ local. So let me take a look at the local to see if there's any time restriction. For some time you may have a class of service with time period configured. So if I were to go to that partition, call HQ local, as you can see there is no time restriction there either. Alright, so let's take a look at the phone that is making the phone call. So that would be your HQ phone 2, and the HQ phone 2 should have a calling source space on line level. So there is a calling source space somewhere here applied, if I can figure out right there. So that is HQ phone, so that means HQ phone is able to communicate. We are supposed to be able to communicate with 3001. Now let's take a look at the HQ phone, just to calling source space, just to get an understanding of what is in that calling source space. So HQ phone, and here you should see these are the four partition are there. HQ International, NA911, HQ LD, HQ local. So the question is, how is this call actually being routed to voicemail? So let's do call routing, and let's do a route plan report. I want to know if somebody mistakenly configured, or if I have mistakenly configured 3001 twice. Well, here I have 3001 actually 3 times. That's gonna be an issue. So let's see what's going on here. So I've noticed that there's two extension, 3001 and 3002, that belongs to two different device. See that? So 3001 here goes to a particular phone. We know that this is the phone 1 because of this little tag bad, and that belongs to partition called HQ local. And the second one, I don't know what this test is, so let's find out what this test is. So if I click on this, that happens to be a CTI route point, and the CTI route point has an extension 3001 with partition NA911, and this one has call forward all settings. So for somehow when the phone 2 is dialing phone 1 3001, is end up matching this particular extension 3001 of the CTI route point and being forwarded to voicemail. Okay, so why is that really matching this one, not the phone itself? So let's go back to phone 1. Phone 1 belongs to a calling source space. As you can see, the phone 1 belongs to a calling source space called HQ phone. If I were to go to my class of service, I don't know if you remember, in HQ phone I have both 911 and local, but the 911 was at the top, so it has a higher priority over local. So therefore any matching of 3001 will match the pattern 911 first, then local, and then anything else. So if I were to do my route plan one more time, and if I were to go, and as you can see, 911 and local. So what's really happening is, because of your order of partition, 911 is the first priority and then HQ local is the second priority, and therefore is going to the 3001, this one, before it goes to the second one. So if I click on the 3001, the call hits the pattern, it goes to voicemail. So if I were to fix this problem, all I have to do, by going back to the calling source space and increase bring this particular partition at the top, okay, and then going back to PSTN and phone 2, if I redial, it now rings the particular phone. Okay, so it's very important to understand the order of partition. You do not want to mess with the order of partition or just go ahead and create partition as you like. You need to plan yourself. And you may be asking, well, why would I create another extension of 3001 and put it to CTI route point? Well, the question is not why. The question is, you may be required to do that by either by the proctor, because they want to test your concept of your partition order. So if I were the proctor, I would have easily do this and say, you know what, hey, let me play with your mind. Well, you need to understand the order of partitions. That's a key part. Why would I create 3001 is not the relevant. What's relevant here is that, do you understand the concept of how partition and calling source space works together? Alright, so I'll see you in the next.